This is the story of Emiliano Sala, a footballer from rural Argentina, days away from achieving his dream of playing in the Premier League. His death has placed an intense focus on the often tawdry business of professional football, a tragedy seemingly so avoidable, with so many unanswered questions. Sala was born in the village of Kelner, home to more cows than people, in October 1990. His mother Mercedes and father Horacio split when he was young. Together with sister Amina and brother Dario, they moved to nearby Progreso, where Sala spent many happy days joking around and having barbecues with a close-knit group of friends who remained his support system until the end.
Where did Emiliano live?
Sí, esta es la casa de Emi, la que vivió hasta hace un poco más de 3 años. Acá, cuando venía, siempre nos juntábamos a comer, a hacer asados.
Martin Molteni was Emiliano's oldest and closest childhood friend. He helped carry his coffin.
Un poco el comienzo donde nos empezamos a conocer, tanto acá como cuando jugábamos al fútbol. Fueron los primeros momentos que conocíamos a Emiliano.
So, this is where you came to play when you were kids with Emiliano as well?
Y acá era un lugar donde pasamos mucho tiempo, todavía lo seguimos pasando. Acá se hace cada 24 de diciembre, cada 31 de diciembre, el fútbol navideño y el último fútbol del año.
They were inseparable, camping out in the garden of a friend's house during the long, hot summer months.
Desde que empezábamos la escuela temprano a la mañana era ir a comer y ya a la siesta ya habíamos organizado el fútbol y después íbamos a merendar con alguna leche chocolatada, algunas masitas. Nos íbamos a la casa de alguno y seguíamos jugando al fútbol. Y quizá en 17, 18 horas estábamos juntos.
The first time Emiliano moved away from home, he was just 15, playing in Europe. He briefly returned to Argentina before moving to France, making his professional debut for Bordeaux in February 2012. At first, he struggled to find a place in the first team, farmed out on loan to smaller clubs across France, learning the language as he went. But it was at FC Nantes where he really hit his stride. In his final season, he was among the top scorers in Ligue 1, surpassing the likes of World Cup winner Kylian Mbappe and Brazilian Neymar. Despite being paid £50,000 a month, Sala lived modestly in this rented house in Carquefou, a small town 15 minutes drive from Nantes. In the vineyards over the road where Muscadet wine is produced, he walked his black Labrador Nala. A creature of habit, Sala prayed in the local church before every game.
And I saw him praying just here. He was praying very, very deeply. It was quite impressive. We could feel his faith, in fact. And his mother was just with him, beside him. It was just before match, at the beginning of the negotiations about his transfer, and I could feel as if he was quite nervous, quite anxious about these changes. I recognized him because I'm a fan of FC Nantes fan, and so I went to him and I blessed him.
The Saturday before he died, Sala visited Jean-Philippe Roussel, a barber who became a friend after cutting his hair every 3 weeks for 4 years, presenting him with the number 9 shirt he wore on the pitch.
C'était un petit cadeau parce que Emiliano, il a toujours voulu payer tout normalement, comme tout le monde, parce qu'il avait la notion de l'argent, ce que c'était, du travail. Et puis là, je lui dis non, la dernière fois que je te vois ici, voilà, c'est le cadeau. Et puis on avait terminé la journée, et puis on n'avait pas coupé les cheveux. Puis c'est là qu'il a sorti son maillot du FC Nantes, quoi.
He even invited family and friends from Progreso to visit him in France.
Bueno, el año pasado fue. Yo tuve la posibilidad primero de ir a Nantes, a su casa, a estar una semana con él. que fue verdaderamente una semana inolvidable donde nos reímos mucho, pude ir a verlos jugar ahí, pude ver y conocer el cariño que le tiene la gente. Y ya lo que fue el receso del Mundial y salimos y siempre llevando la iniciativa para comer el asado y para juntarnos. En Argentina no se conoce, nosotros no lo dimensionamos, pero también cuando salíamos a comer o a dar una vuelta, la gente se le acercaba, le pedía una foto muy respetuosamente.
The suburban streets of Carcassonne, which Emiliano Sala loved, are far removed from the glitz and excess of the modern-day Premier League. But the deal which took him from here in Western France to South Wales is a window into the often murky world of football transfers, with its agents, its middlemen, and the huge sums of money at stake.
Sala's long-term agent Messa Ndiaye, British football agent Willie Mackay and his son Mark, and France-based agents Baba Dramé and Bakary Sanogo were all in line for a payout. It is clear why Ndiaye, who has supported Sala's family in the wake of the tragedy, stood to benefit. It's not obvious exactly why 4 individuals were needed to complete the deal. Emiliano initially didn't even want to go to Cardiff, but behind the scenes the Mackays had been given a mandate to find a buyer for him in the Premier League. Willie sent an email to Sala on January the 6th, seen by Sky News, admitting trying to strum up interest in the striker. He wrote, "We are not interested in looking after your personal interests, finance, holidays, babysitting is not our market. We do transfers. In reality, if you were not a footballer, these people don't care about you. They only care about money, because that's all we care about. Cardiff have been told you don't want to go there, and that's probably our fault. It was us who put in the media about other clubs wanting you, West Ham, Everton, etc., to try create an interest in you. That's what we do." It's this email which it is understood Cardiff and owner Vincent Tan are now using as the partial basis for withholding the £15 million transfer fee to Nantes. They claim Mackay tricked them by artificially increasing the price through lying about the level of interest. In truth, this sort of manipulation is not uncommon in professional football transfers. Without the tragedy which followed, the murky details of this deal would almost certainly never have come to light.
When you start to look into this transfer, then you see a lot of people talking about money, about intermediaries, agents, people who mingle there, and you don't really know what their role is and what they are really bringing to this, but they make a lot of money out of this. So yeah, the more you look into the details of the transfer, the more uncomfortable and uneasy you get about modern football. I mean, it's a tendency. It's not only with Sala.
Sala signed for Cardiff on January the 18th, alongside Chief Executive Ken Chu. At £15 million, he was the club's record transfer. It was hoped he could make his debut against Newcastle the next day, but the deal didn't go through in time, setting in motion the events which led to the 28-year-old's death. He hadn't spent much time in Cardiff, but Sala struck up a friendship with Mackay's son Jack, a striker for the club who spoke French from 8 years living in Monaco. The Mackay family offered to arrange a private flight to Nantes, they claim as a favour, so Sala could return for the weekend. After seeing friends and putting his affairs in order in France, he began the journey back to Wales.
Sala dropped his dog Nala at the kennels at 5 p.m. The plan had been eventually for her to join him in Cardiff. He was driven to the airport by best friend and fellow footballer Nicolas Palois, arriving at Nantes Atlantique just before sunset. At the other end, Cardiff's player liaison officer Callum Davis was waiting to welcome the footballer back to the city. While back in Argentina, Sala's mum was sat by the phone waiting for it to ring. The footballer would usually contact her every single night. That call, of course, never arrived.
To his friends on WhatsApp, Sala expressed concerns about the state of the plane.
Así que nada, muchachos. Estoy acá arriba del avión que parece que se está por caer a pedazos. Y me estoy yendo para Cardiff, loco, que mañana sí, ya arrancamos.
The single-engine Piper Malibu aircraft took off at 7:15 p.m. and disappeared from radar an hour and 15 minutes later. Misgivings were expressed almost immediately about pilot David Ibbotson's decision to fly. Sky News has obtained a copy of the flight plans submitted for the journey back to Cardiff. The flight was planned under visual flight rules, which means the pilot needs to be able to see a certain distance ahead at all times. Aviation experts have told Sky News the chances of doing this on the night of the 21st of January are likely to have been limited. All said they would not risk putting their own family on that flight.
It was a risky flight to do, possibly slightly higher risk than one would normally like to do. Certainly, I would not advise flying a private pilot flying at night long sea crossings in winter and low level and possibly in cloud. That is beyond what I would consider to be a safe flight.
Emiliano's body was retrieved from the wreckage of the plane north of the Channel island of Guernsey 3 weeks later. Those close to him agonised about why he was on that particular plane.
Un poco extraño que él haya estado solo en ese momento, que nadie por ahí lo haya querido parar o aconsejar de estar un poco más tranquilo, de tomar ese minuto de pausa en una decisión que lamentablemente le costó la vida. Pero bueno, son momentos que es complicado porque hay mucha ansiedad en el jugador cuando hay un traspaso y la ansiedad a veces te juega una mala pasada.
While family and fans grieve, Nantes and Cardiff are already involved in a bitter legal battle. Cardiff manager Neil Warnock and the club have made attempts to distance themselves from the agent Willie Mackay. But Sky News has learned the Mackay family handled logistics for both sides, organising and paying for 5 flights connected with this deal, including 2 for Warnock himself. At home in Progreso, talk turning to money so soon feels grossly insensitive. His funeral was held in the building where he played basketball as a boy, his coffin surrounded by floral wreaths. Here they crave answers, awaiting the preliminary report of the Air Accident Board expected next week. It's understood the investigators have been told the name of mystery owners of the plane, which is registered offshore.
In Progreso, people are working class but mostly live comfortably. The main business here is agriculture, the selling of soy and corn. The Sala family are one of few here who don't actually own land, but in Emiliano they produced by far its greatest export.
The reality that their most famous son will never return hurts. But there is the hope that Emiliano's death can at least bring some good.
Ojalá que parte de este legado sea también de poder respetar más los derechos de la persona, respetar el derecho del futbolista, que es un chico como cualquiera de nosotros, le puede haber pasado a cualquiera de nosotros, le puede haber pasado a cualquier futbolista, y ojalá que esto sirva para que no vuelva a suceder.
While the people of Progreso mourn, the wrangling over money between Cardiff and Nantes could go on for months or even years. Through the most appalling tragedy, perhaps we can learn something about the ugly side of the game Emiliano Sala loved.